The Sun Butter King. North Dakota was the only state in the country which enjoyed full employment, and Doodle Dad wanted in. North Dakota was also the least visited state in the nation, yet Doodle Dad was used to seeing his parents only twice a year, and also accustomed to not seeing any of his former friends since his three fuss-free children were born, failing the friendship litmus test every time. So the isolating nature of North Dakota didn't bother him one bit, especially knowing how much Doodle Dad hated to navigate around lost in time tourist Hicks in Times Square pre-COVID on his way to work when he used to take the subway there for his IT recruiter job in Midtown East for a living. But the majority of the jobs in North Dakota were within the farming and energy industry, which Doodle Dad had no experience with whatsoever. Granted, his mom grew up in Kentucky and had an Uncle Jim who owned a farm, who even wore overalls to his grandpa's funeral, because that's how he rolled. And Doodle Dad would have a bit in his old act about how Kentucky native Ashley Judd wasn't an actual victim of rape. He'd say, ooh, she refused to watch Harvey Weinstein shower himself down at his five-star suite at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. At the same time, Ashley Judd had plenty of experience judging fat pigs at the county fair. Holla! Thank you very much! Still, Doodle Dad wasn't expecting to be a working headliner comedian at the non-existent comedy clubs in downtown Fargo, North Dakota. Microsoft had 100,000 employees based in North Dakota. Yet Doodle Dad was no fan of Bill Gates' dad being the head of Planned Parenthood either, whose founder was intent on carrying out Hitler's eugenic solution, one fetus flicker, mostly of color, at a time. North Dakota was also voted the least female-friendly environment in America because it had less abortion clinics than oxygen bars for the Persian Iranians to act urban chic smug in, like Tanner, humorless Whitney Cumming clones in those Hollywood Hills who were too uptight for Doodle Dad's taste, whose blob brain personalities offered him nil. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad had an old headhunter boss who hailed from a prestigious farming family in North Dakota who drilled into his cranium the do-or-die mantra, innovate or die. Innovate he must, because Doodle Dad had to invent a new job title besides stay-at-home comedian. Doodle Dad just wanted to write more books from home and cook more yummy dance meals for his family, but needed a paying job of some sort to finance finishing his next book in progress, The Coachitarian Diet, where he does everything in his power to assume the role of a stay-at-home comedian chef to get his kids excited about giving the Coachitarian diet a chance. John Lennon lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Plus, Doodle Dad had no desire to uproot his family and move closer to his in-laws in Delaware, whose state motto should be changed to, your Nazi gold is safe with us. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad was also working on a new short story book collection, Waste of Height, which forced him to be a tad less political and overtly sexual in his writing for a change. It's a thoughtful intentions that matter. Still, as famous English novelist Virginia Woolf once said, a woman must have a room of her own and money to write fiction. Now, Doodle Dad, being a stay-at-home female rocker mom of sorts, could identify with this stone-cold sober truism, even more than being a shishi bitch who would get dressed up on Shabbat Friday nights to stay in with his three kids again while his wife went back to work at the hospital in the NICU to check out vital signs on blue-face newborn babies, which made Doodle Dad feel like an insufferable narcissist at times because all he checked for was for retweets before he got banned from Twitter for calling Governor Cuomo the Blanche-killing, cold-blooded Italian reptilian inside who looks like the Thing and Mama Fratelli from the Goonies had a baby. Holla! Thank you very much! Now, Doodle Dad couldn't even justify his IPA intake after a Peloton ride anymore because his family was barely affording the monthly payments on their mortgage. And nothing had changed too much since he started chasing down open mics throughout Southern California. California 15 years ago. Brian Wilson lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Not too much has changed since he started chasing down open mics throughout Southern California 15 years ago after getting the Laugh Chaser bug, which no amount of widespread, perpetual bombing or martial bliss, disintegration, or threat of complete financial ruin could ever cure. Also, Doodle Dad's office was in his bedroom, which a recent jilted audiobook reviewer derided as tiny and cramped based on the lack of a reverberating echo blowing through the air, being palpably evident in his chapter reading for The Last Temptation of Adderall. Also, Doodle Dad had given up hope on securing a lit agent for the time being. He's not completely suicidal. To take a chance on an eccentric Jewish comedian, satirist, reinvented literary novelist who uses books for extra long stand-up comedy monologues he couldn't afford to do during open mics throughout Manhattan anymore because he can no longer justify the $40 Metro North train fare to wail with his arms on stage for the pleasure of trying to entertain the two millennial Mouseketeers in the audience with such a jade-free, joyous, giving heart anymore, who only understand 40% of his references anyway, such as the game plan was to get married in Australia, where my wife is from originally. Yeah, my mom calls me up and shot down that concept immediately and says, son, Australia's a very long flight from New York, but your father doesn't love you that much. So I made my wife a compromise. I said, babe, if we have a boy one day, instead of hiring a rabbi for the kid's circumcision, we'll hire Crocodile Dundee, just so we could hear a room full of Jews say, now that's a knife. You could chop it all off with that thing. Holla. Thank you very much. Now, Doodle Dad didn't desperately seek strangers' funny man approval as much on stage since he launched his successful Doodle Daddy podcast almost 4 years ago, which for him was the greatest open mic show on earth. But it pained Doodle Dad to still not be in a position to buy his son Archer USA, the G.I. Joe SS Flag aircraft carrier for his son's 7th birthday. Or it killed him that Doodle Dad didn't have all this extra money laying around, earned from his comedic gold drilling over the past 4 years. Didn't even have enough shekels to get his son snowboard lessons, or a freaking pair of vintage Freezy Freakies on eBay with the Thundercats on it, for fucking Christ's sake. Anything else but more copies of his impossible to find books on Amazon. Reality is, Art Show USA provided book cover consultation on all 4 of his Doodle Dad's books. Art Show USA adored his Doodle Dad's book so much he took a screensaver picture for his remote learning school-issue computer, holding all 4 of his Dear Dad's books held closely to his heart, exuding a beamish, prideful spark which shine inside and out, proving how controlling kids with comedy can make our kids great again. Holla! Thank you very much! 7 years on this earth after Art Show USA was born, Doodle Dad needed to fight harder than ever to keep his elusive dreams of comedic literary superstardom alive. Doodle Dad's son loved his dad's Doodle Dad Your podcast too, and he didn't want his Dear Dada to perform more sheets of comedy gold on it without having to worry about Mama threatening to kick him out of the house again because of his lack of money generating power for the past 5 years and counting. Completely obliterating the premise that funny equals money. So Doodle Dad got an idea while making lunch for his son one day. The Sun Butter Challenge. What if Doodle Dad went into business with his gorgeous son, Archer USA, who could smile on cue without breaking into hives in the process, and Daddy would become his booking talent agent, booking him as a new face for Sun Butter Gold Foods, located in the Sunflower Country, Bismarck, North Dakota, which could lead to Doodle Dad snagging enough loot sack to buy his family his elusive Porsche Comedy Gold Mobile SUV, a new lake house summer home in Lake George, New York for his son's G.I. Joe SS flag, and enough money to finance writing more books without ever having to bite his tongue while being offered a career consultation email from LinkedIn concerning the gaps of wrath on his resume ever again. Got a dream, Dave! Carlito Way lives. Holla! Thank you very much! Doodle Dad's son, Archo USA, possessed the sunbeam smile few other kids can match with such star-powered gleaming light. So, if Doodle Dad couldn't get a job interview for a junior copywriter position at Sun Gold Foods in Bismarck, North Dakota, then Doodle Dad could create a job for himself as his son's personal manager, calling himself on LinkedIn the Sun Gold Hunter, so he could finally capitalize in a big-time cashing-in way off all of his new business development, cold calling-centric IT headhunter background, experience amassed with LA and Manhattan, where he slaved weekends away when he wasn't trying to write new scripts or jokes by researching new IT directors and chief marketing officers to cold call the following week again and again. As depressingly dreary as that sounds, Doodle Dad was old school and had no problem cold calling men and women in powers of authority who controlled staffing budgets in the New York Minute. Plus, Doodle Dad took perverse pleasure working around HR, who tended to ruin the love connection potential between a hurting hiring manager and a staffing solution specialist. Headhunter to the rescue, like Doodle Dad. Doodle Dad also learned from his headhunting days how passion is always picked up over the phone. So Doodle Dad would have no problem conveying to the head of Sun Butter Gold Products in Bismarck, North Dakota, what a gross disservice to mankind they'd be doing for refraining from making his American-made beautiful boy, Archo USA, the permanent franchise face of Sun Gold Food Products moving forward, which would double annual sales from $4 million to $8 million in the first week alone, guaranteed. Now, Doodle Dad is pitching his son as the new face for Sun Butter, the chief marketing officer through Zoom. Cheryl, the chief marketing officer, looks confused. Doodle Dad says, "You look confused, Cheryl. I want my son to star in the Sun Butter Challenge campaign across America." Similar to what they did with the Pepsi Challenge back in the day, when kids had stronger immunities to bullying, Kurt Cobain excluded. Kurt Cobain longed to retreat into his pre-fame bubble without having to rummage through his grandma's closet for another ugly lime sweater to wear at the MTV Music Awards. I totally get it. Cheryl, the CMO Sun Butter Gold Product, says, "So where's Archo USA? How do you expect me to hire you two as a package deal to do the creative and performing in the Sun Butter Challenge campaigns without me seeing the Sun Butter smile to light up 1,000 suns? The same smile, which will double our sales in a year, according to your fuzzy math estimates, knowing you still have to count with your fingers for a simple arithmetic, which I read in one of your blog posts in case you think we just ignored the totality of your digital fingerprint on the internet altogether because your son is a smile attraction we're after, not you, Doodle Dad, if you really need to know." Doodle Dad says, "Archo, come in Dada's office for a minute." Archo says, "You mean your bedroom, Dada?" Doodle Dad says, "Thanks for reminding me and for destroying what little sales leverage I possess without you flashing your smile through Zoom." 4. The Sun Kingmaker to see. Archo hops on his dear Dada's lap and smiles. Cheryl, the chief marketing officer, says, "Wow, your Dada isn't another full of shit New Yorker after all. Are you ready to be a star, kiddo?" Archo USA says, "Just give my Dada 10% of everything I make for a finder's fee and give him final cut approval on all commercials and print campaigns starring my Sun Butter smile, and you got yourself a deal. Can I go back to building my Harry Potter astronomy tower now?" Dear Dada starts singing with an extra rollicking, jubilant heart. "Somebody's king stock is rising, rising. Jim Morrison lives. Holla! Thank you very much." Next, Doodle Dad adds, "King Arthur, my kid eclipses his star power, limited to Disney fable books nobody reads anymore. Oh, I can't take no more. Dice lives. Holla! Thank you very much." Cheryl, the chief marketing officer, says, "Would you mind if we put sunflowers in your son's hair? The LBGT community will lick it up, oh, Kiss lives, holla, thank you very much." Do you think you're the only Kiss fan who resents how Nirvana's Nevermind was the death blow shot heard around the world that killed off carefree hair metal pop rock forever. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me. What Gen X dads understand, obviously, controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, 99.9% of the time, are living proof of it. And I'll talk to you guys soon.